Hello racing fans, and a warm welcome to Trackside, proudly brought to you by World Sports Betting. Bet with the best, bet with WSB, a leader in the fixed odds betting market and number one in the anti-post betting market. Weekends racing to close up February. Well, it's a double header this weekend. Saturday, it is the race meeting that will bring down the curtain on what has been a sizzling Cape summer season. We've been treated to some high-class action in the feature races, and it is Derby Day, and of course the Grade 1 South African Derby now, or should I say it's the Grade 1 Cape Derby, now got a sponsor called Johnson's Workwear. That's Nick Johnson and his team behind the Group 1 Cape Derby, alongside a few other feature races. And then it's Sunday at the Big T Turfentine. Well, for this show, we're concentrating on the feature race meeting that will close down the Cape summer season. And we got 3 horses to follow. They all come up in that race meeting, and looking forward to some superb racing when you have a look at some of the horse flesh that's going to be racing, especially the 3-year-olds in that Group 1 Johnson's Workwear Cape Derby. I trust that everyone's well, everyone's fine, looking forward to this weekend's racing, and away we go with those 3 horses. And I will tell you that because I like the card at Kenilworth on Saturday, at the end of the show we'll also give a pick 6 for Kenilworth, which should be a bumper pull. But away we go with our 3 horses, and it'll all begin in race number 5, the Kaya Stables Diadem Stakes, a Grade 2 over 1200 meters. And here we're going with last season's Equus champion sprinter. His name is Rio Carrari. He's had 2 runs this season. His first effort, well, he was running on second behind the highly talented Real Gone Kid. And that day, jockey Anton Marcus gave him a super confident ride, jumped him out, let him use his early pace and speed, and that was it. The balance we're chasing, and the fastest finisher behind Real Gone Kid was Rio Carrari. And then last time out, it was the Cape Flying Championship. Now that race was dominated by 2 horses in the betting. That was Real Carrari and Real Gone Kid, and many made it a match race, but that wasn't to be. It was a bomb result, a huge result in the exotics, with Bohica coming to win at 20-1. Second was Mr. Cobbs at 40-1, and third was After Rain, that was at around 20-1 or 30-1. I think it may have been even 40-1, that individual. So it was a bomb result in the top 3 there. And then only came Rio Carrari back in 4th, and 5th was Real Gone Kid. But there were valid excuses for this fella. The saddle slipped, and he was not being able to assist him throughout the race, Grant van Niekerk, because with that saddle slip, he still ran his heart out. He was running on 4th behind Bohica, and I think he'll be here to set the record straight. He's here to make amends. All you need to look at is the best weighted column as well, which he is at a 130 ahead of the next best weighted, which is Seeking the Star, at a 126. And then it's a big gap. It's a huge gap to Cosmic Highway, Ambiorix, and then we got Bereave as well. So the top 2 look to be standouts in the best weighted column. That's Rio Carrari and Seeking the Stars. But Seeking the Stars, we'll see how he goes. He's a very, very talented individual trained by Vaughan Marshall, and jockey Anton Marcus got an exceptional record on him. But I think this horse, Rio Carrari, just taking out what happened last time out, and if this time round we're saying all things are equal and the race is incident free, then he will win. It's simple as that. Number 1, Rio Carrari, a confident choice here to pull off the Kaya Stables Diadem Stakes at Group 2 over 1200 meters. And we then go on to race number 6, and this is the Johnson's Workwear Cape Derby. It's a Group 1 over 2,000 meters, and the best of the best when it comes to the 3-year-olds in Cape Town that are going to enjoy this distance take their place in what promises to be a fantastic race. But I say fantastic because they all have one horse to beat. He is the horse that's the top one, called Double Superlative. He's the highest rated 3-year-old in the country at a 121, and he's the winner of the World Sports Betting Group 1 Cape Guineas. Last time out, well, they threw him in the deep end. They tried him against older stars in the World Sports Betting Cape Met. I liked him in the Cape Met. I thought, he was the unexposed horse in the race. He had a nice galloping weight with jockey Anton Marcus up, and although he was beaten by what I think are the best older horses, not only in Cape Town but in the country. The race was won by Vodacom Durban July winner, adding the World Sports Betting Cape Met to his name. That's Comet Tidung. Second was Jet Dark, super talented. Third was Linebacker, super talented. When I say the best of the best in the country, well, those 3 names are the best of the best when it comes to the older horses. So this horse, he ran his heart out. He was certainly not disgraced. He made his presence felt, and I thought it was a great run from Double Superlative. This race has always been his mission as a 3-year-old. That I have no doubt about. The Cape Derby over 2,000 meters, and here he is, the son of twice over. And the best weighted column, well, he's clear of the second. And of course, these ratings, it's still early on in their careers, and some of them could achieve higher or may even be lower in the pecking order over 2,000 meters. But on what he's shown to date, he's at, in the best weighted column is a 115. He's 4 kgs superior to the next best weighted, which is Pomp and Power at a 107. So that's clear to see what the handicapper thinks of him. And as I mentioned, he is the top rated 3-year-old in the country. And I think all he has to do now is just show himself up at the races. The 2,000 meters will be no problem for him, and just show his class, and of course deliver. I'm very confident that he'll be a hard horse to beat on what he's shown to date. He started to capture the imagination quite early on in his career. He was tipped on trackside at 10-1 to win the World Sports Betting Guineas, which he delivered, and since then he's just been a horse that I mentioned on air on this show that he's one to follow, and follow strongly. So a confident choice there in the Johnson's Workwear Cape Derby, a Group 1 over 2,000 meters. Number 1, Double Superlative. Well, we've gone for 2 top ones. We went for races 5 and 6. Well, we're sticking at Kenilworth, as I mentioned, and it is going to be race number 7 as well. So that's the pick 3, races 5, 6 and 7, and that's the treble for this weekend, because it's another top one, and this is in the Prix de Cap Group 3 over 1,400 meters, and her name is Princess Kala. She's a daughter of Flower Alley. Adam Marcus and Anton Marcus will team up. Now, if you go to this filly's career and her record, she's campaigned at the highest level after winning on debut. I mentioned the highest level because all you're going to have to see is pull out her CV, and it's just reads group race after group race after group race. She's a 3-time winner, which doesn't tell a true story. I say this because she's won a Group 2, she's won a Group 3, and she's run, and let me get this right, she's run in 8 Group 1 races, Princess Keller, and her record in the Group 1 races are 4th, 3 thirds, 3 seconds, including a second in a Group 2. So she's made strides against the best of her generation, against older company, and some of the names that she's campaigned against, Captain Ransom, Queen Supreme, War of Athena, just to name a few. So she's just been a highly consistent filly at the highest level. Number 1, Princess Keller, and she's an absolute standout in the best weighted column at a 121. The next best is Amanzantoti, which is at a 108, and you work that out, that's 6.5 kgs clear of the next in the best weighted column. And an added plus is that of her 3 wins, which as mentioned doesn't do justice to her racing CV, 2 of her 3 wins have been over 1400 meters, a group 2 and a group 3. So she's ideally distance suited. She's got a jockey that knows her well, and this filly, I think this race is tailor-made for her to win. She will be an odds-on favorite when I look at the opposition that she takes on. Whilst there is form to work around, have a look at her recent runs behind Captain's Ransom, especially her last 2 starts, both being Group 1s, the Paddock Stakes and the Mallorca, where she hasn't been disgraced, and they now put her in this Group 3 over 1400 meters, and I think she'll be very, very hard to beat. And those are the 3 horses that we're going to follow on trackside. They look to be in the right race at the right time according to what their form represents in black and white. The way the weights favor them in all 3 feature races, and I think all 3 horses look hard to beat, and that could be a really nice treble to take, and that will be up on the World Sports Betting menu. So those are going to be the 3 horses in the trackside treble. Race 5 at Kenilworth Rio Karari, race 6 at Kenilworth Double Superlative, and then race 7 Princess Keller. I mentioned that we're going to do a pick 6 because we like the card. We like the card because we got 3 bankers in the pick 6, and this is how we're going to structure it. I'm just going to give you the numbers in the respective races. Race number 4, which starts off the pick 6, it's just Master Stakes, and here I've included the numbers 1, 3, 4, 6, 7 and 11. 1, 3, 4, 6, 7 and 11. Then banker horse number 1 Rio Karari, then banker horse number 1, which is Double Superlative, then banker horse number 1, which is Princess Keller. And then in the Bloodstock South Africa, I think it's a BSA Cape Yearling Cup, if I'm not mistaken, I've included 2, 4, 6, 7 runners there, but those 7 runners will cover the entire field because we're going with the first timer rule. So I've included all the raced runners, and we've got the entire field covered with that first timer rule in the pick 6, and those numbers will be 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, 13 and 15. I hope I haven't excluded any of those runners, but 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, 13 and 15 will cover the entire field in that race. And then the last race that closes off the pick 6 is the jockeys versus the work riders. And when I had a look at that race, I think the jockeys look too strong with their rides, and in that race I've included 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 7, and that pick 6 will cost you 252 Rand for 3 bankers. And I don't know when last I've worked out a pick 6 perm that cost this less. 252 Rand with 3 bankers, and all the best with that pick 6. Hopefully the bankers arrive, and hopefully in the other 2 legs, because the 1 leg we definitely covered where we got the field just including the race runners. In the other 2 legs, hopefully we can survive, and for 252 we'll be hoping for a fair return on our investment. What's happening on the World Sports Betting menu? I just want to have a quick look on my device. Well, there's lots happening there. I see they've got the betting for this weekend. Obviously, the SA's Jockey Championship, the SA's Trainers Championship. In the SA's Jockeys Championship, well, Warren Kennedy is just building and building and building towards the end of the season, and the gap between himself and Samanga Kamala is getting bigger and bigger, and I think all he just needs to do is ride to the line now, and he will be crowned champion jockey. The SA Trainers Championship, well, Justin Snate and Paul Peter have been added from the beginning of the season, but Justin Snate is a clear favorite to win this. Of course, he'll have a big weekend this weekend, and then we know that he has a very, very strong string that he'll be bringing down for the KZN champion season. And with that stakes boost that was announced for KZN champion season, well, he's got the horses that will campaign there, and I think that he will be very hard to beat as well. I see there's anti-post as well, the SA Fillies Classic anti-post. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, there they've got Rain in Holland at 13-10 World Sports Betting, and then Desert Miracle at 17-10. Well, Rain in Holland, she's thrown a name in the hat of possibly reeling off the Triple Tiara if she wins this leg. She's got one more leg to go, so they're making it a 2-horse race, Rain in Holland and Desert Miracle. And then we look at that was the Triple Tiara. Let's go and have a look at, sorry, that was the second leg of the Triple Tiara in the SA Fillies Classic. And then the World Sports Betting SA Classic anti-post. How are they betting there? Because we got a horse that won the first leg in fine style called Safe Passage. Well, Safe Passage is the top one at 15-10. And then it is Pyromaniac at 5-1. Aragosta, that's the interesting horse for me, the stable companion to Safe Passage. I think his main mission will no doubt, or the trip that will suit him best, will be the Derby, the third leg, but he's trading at 7.5-1. And then Zeus, the unbeaten horse, the exciting horse for the Nassifs, that and Fabian Habib, that's at 9-1, and then it's 10-1 and better. The balance, that's the two second leg of the Triple Crown and Triple Tiara. What else is happening? And I see they got, let's have a look at the nominations, pre-nomination betting for the Vodacom Durban July. Komete Dung still on top at 11-2, that's 5.5-1. Linebacker at 7-1. Double Superlative, there's my horse, 12-1. We're hoping that he can get the job done for us this weekend. Safe Passage at 12-1. Warrior at 16-1. Jet Dark at 20-1. And I'm still scratching my head at Jet Dark at 20-1. Goedspruit at 20-1. Sparkling Water at 20-1. And Do It Again at 22-1. That's some of the horses that are on top of betting boards. That's pre-nominations. Of course, they haven't nominated yet, so World Sports Betting are just putting out a feeler out there with the horses they think will be nominated. And as I mention always on the show, when it comes to the Vodacom Durban July, if you want to try and get in early, maybe see a horse that you think is aiming to qualify for the race, and there's tremendous value at this stage of the game. It's a long way to go till the first Saturday in July, but you could get good value, because if the horse starts shaping up, he will start shortening in the betting. But guys, that is a wrap of our weekend show, Trackside, proudly brought to you by World Sports Betting. And I wish you all the best this weekend. We're going to be treated to some high-class action this weekend. I'm especially looking forward to the race meeting at Kenilworth featuring the Johnson's Workwear Group 1 Cape Derby, where the best 3-year-olds will be campaigning for top honors in what promises to be a very exciting race, but Double Superlative, no doubt the horse to beat. And on behalf of the sponsor, thanks to all the punters, but more importantly and more especially, thanks to you, the valued customer. Until next week, you take care. Salani Kahle.